Hey, what's up guys, I'm Richard, I'm the marketing guy here at Stormcloud Games, and this is our first ever questions and answers video. So, last week on Twitter, on our blog post, on Facebook, I reached out to you guys, the community, and asked, what do you want to know about Brilla, about Stormcloud, about game development, about anything in general? Give us your questions and we will answer them. You guys delivered, so thank you so much. So, let's begin. For our first question, we've got Devin. Devin asks, when will Brilla be released? So Devin, we've got no concrete answer for that just yet. What I can say for definite is that we are feature complete and we're in our bug fixing phase. So we're on the home stretch of the project. Why we're at this phase now is because after PSX, where we announced the game in December, we got to watch a lot of people play the game. And while the feedback was really positive, everyone was really upbeat about the game and was really excited to play it on release, just watching people play it for the first time, you realise that while their experience over 15-20 minutes was really good, if that continued for an hour or 2 hours, it might not be as great. So we took that information back and we made some edits ourselves. We improved the game, we raised the bar, if you will. And that took a little bit of time. But now we are in the bug fixing phase, so we're on the final stretch. And once we've got a date, we'll announce it on Twitter, on Facebook, probably on YouTube as well, and our blog, so stay tuned for that. For question 2, we've got Devin. Devin asks, any chance, oh Devin again, double dipping Devin. Any chance we will see a more in-depth video showcasing Brilla? Yes, yes you shall. So, for the last month or so, we've been releasing these 10-second, 15-second teasers of our characters and sort of showing off the different roles that you could play. We've got the videos where our blog post describing how these characters would play and how you would use them. And that was a nice little introduction to the game following our trailer. Going forward, over the next month or two, we're going to have a video showcasing our potion brewing and how you use potions in the game. We're going to show off weapon crafting and the different weapons you can use in Brilla. And we're also going to do a Let's Play, and we'll probably also do a live stream on twitch.tv. We haven't got any dates for that just yet, but just know that content's in the works as of today, and that'll be coming soon. In terms of the live stream and our Let's Play videos, we'll announce those on our social media channels, so Twitter, Facebook, and our blog post again, about when they'll be live, and hopefully you'll get to tune in and enjoy those as well. Okay, so question number 3 comes from Andy Campbell, and Andy asks, what was the inspiration behind Brilla's graphic direction? So, in terms of our art direction and the final look of the game, that purely came from the idea that we wanted to take those old ASCII roguelikes, the games that were top down, that were made of all these symbols. You had the walls were hash symbols, the character was the @ symbol, you had O for an orc, D for a dragon, Z for a zombie. These sort of rudimentary, in many ways, graphics and representations of the game, we wanted to bring it to life, but obviously bring it forward for PS4 and for PC, and really sort of harness the power of consoles and PCs right now. So it was the idea that take that, what it was 10, 20, 30 years ago, and bring it forward now, and how do we make that relevant? And for us, that was taking our ASCII look and realizing it in 3D. So it really is trying to bring games that a lot of people played when they were younger, bringing that forward, but maintaining the sort of the link to the past, if you will. A little Zelda reference there. Maintaining the link to the past with our art style and our art direction. So hopefully that answers your question. So for our next question, we've got Chris Jones, and Chris asks, was just wondering if you're planning on any DLC or extras for this fantastic looking piece of awesomeness. Firstly, great compliment. Thank you very much. In terms of any DLC or extras, no plans just yet. In all honesty, we're purely focused on the core game, the game that we're going to release to you when you buy it on PSN or PC down the line. We want to make sure that core game is as good as it can be, and taking any time now to design or work on or just put any effort or thought into extras or DLC will take away from the core game, which means that you get a worse product, and we don't want that. So our full dedication right now is on the core game that you'll get at launch. Anything after that, I can't say for now. I don't want to say yes or no, but what I can say is that we are fully focused on the core game. So for our next question, we've got Andrew BE, and Andrew, two-parter, first asks, are there any types of sub-bosses in the dungeon? So no, we've got our end game boss, which is our dragon that you saw in our trailer video, but between floors 1 and 25, the dragon's on 26, between floors 1 and 25, the difficulty is determined by, well, firstly, the game is completely random. So obviously, I can never guarantee what monsters you will get on a certain level, or the layout of the level, or the weapons you'll find, the potions you'll find, yada yada yada. But what we have done is we created these intense groups. So on level 1 of the game, you might find a spider on his own. on level 3 of the game, floor 3, dungeon floor 3, you might find two spiders, a group of spiders. On floor 5, you might find one frozen spider and 2 spiders. So that frozen spider, when he hits you, will freeze you in place, and the other spiders can group up and then hit you freely while you're frozen. So we do that. Obviously, over 25 levels, that can get boring. You don't want to, on floor 18, find 20 spiders. You know, that's not that exciting. But we've got these cast of characters, these cast of enemies that we can bring together. So an example would be right now, one of the sort of the tougher combinations that I'm working on is 2 frozen archers, skeleton archers. So when they hit you with their arrows, they freeze you. And then a minotaur, and the minotaur will sort of, he charges like a bull and runs right at you, knocks you down, dealing a lot of damage. So he's quite easy to avoid on his own, but when you've got these 2 archers firing frost arrows at you and freezing you in place, he can then just pin you down and mow you down. So you have to dodge, block these arrows, get to these skeleton archers, hit them, make sure the other one doesn't get you, make sure the minotaur doesn't get you. It's all about how you use the weapons, the potions, and the environment in terms of, you know, dodging around tables, blocking, and making sure you're not getting hit by the minotaur while also trying to kill these skeletons. So it's all about those groups, and we've got a lot of nice groups you'll find in terms of, oh, that's cool, oh man, that's, you know, 7 zombies, that was quite tough because they were all poison zombies, so when they hit me I was poisoned. But then we've also got other groups that are, you'll only see once or twice over the 25 levels, but they're really quite tough and they're very interesting. You'll need to really think about how you'll combat these dynamics in terms of these enemies coming together. So no bosses per se. We do have a lot of really interesting groups of enemies that when combined are really quite difficult and will challenge you in different ways than other groups will previously in the game. Oh, and part 2 of your question, before I forget, was can you make some kick some ASCII t-shirts like ASAP? So yes and no, as always. It's the market answer, isn't it? Yes and no. We really want to do some merchandise. It's purely a time thing right now. We haven't properly looked into it. So is it on our roadmap of things to do? Yes. It's just slightly lower down at the moment. Again, purely focused on the game and making sure that our message about the game is going out there. So we'll definitely be looking into merchandise down the line, 100%, but haven't done anything about it just yet. But soon. For our next question, we've got Tony Gowland. Tony asks, do you slightly regret you can't make a hashtag out of brutal with the @ symbol for the A? From a marketing point of view, I think yes and no, truthfully. I think initially I was kind of kicking myself a little bit because, you know, brutal with the @ symbol stands out. It's a simple name, it's easy to remember, it sums up the game, it's got the @ symbol which ties into the ASCII theme. It really just works on so many levels, apart from Twitter. So I think in that regard, it's a little bit of regret. But at the same time, I think brutal is such a common word. Even if you forget the @ symbol for now, brutal, you know, it's used for describing sporting events. You know, that game was brutal. It was, you know, describing award ceremonies, other games. It's just so used as a singular hashtag, and that's why we've been doing the kick some ASCII hashtag. So brutal on its own in terms of the name, you know, easily recognizable, easy to find on the PSN store, easy to look up online. You can find our website. You know, overall, it's a very good, snappy game I think really describes the game and what we're going for. And then I think we can be quite creative with our ASCII theming and the nature of the game to come up with additional hashtags. So while it would be great to have hashtag brutal usable, I do think they would get lost in a sea of other people using hashtag brutal. So we want to use things like kick some ASCII, which I personally really like. So yes, but I think long term it's going to be okay. For our next question, Jody Gallagher asks, how many concepts and iterations did you go through before coming up with the art style? So Jody, I spoke to our art lead Pat about this, and generally speaking they nailed the art style in terms of what they wanted to do quite quickly. The difficulty came with the balance. So you've got these black characters with white ASCII on them on a black background with white bits on it, and making the characters stand out on that was quite difficult. On top of that, you know, going with too much ASCII made characters quite unrecognizable, but then going too little kind of made you wonder why you were doing an ASCII game. So trying to get the balance of all that, I think that was really the hardest thing for the art team to achieve. I think they've done a great job personally. What we're going to do actually, because I think your question's really good, is we're going to try and dig up some of our early concept work in terms of here's where we started, here's where we are now, and show the journey across that, and we'll make that into a little blog post, which I think could be really cool. So thanks for that question. Hopefully I can share some even more in-depth answers with you at a later date. So for our next question, we've got Tony Colgan. Tony has several questions, but it's basically summarized as: what issues did you have with Unity, if any? And would you recommend Unity for small to mid-sized teams now you've used it for a considerable amount of time? So in terms of issues we had with Unity, I think the best thing about Unity is the fast prototyping. It means that you don't need to work on creating your own engine. You can just use theirs. There's support there for you. There's a whole host of fantastic plugins that you can use to get your game up and running and see it on desktop or even on device on PS4 as quick as possible and play it. That by far is the best thing about it. You don't need to spend any time focusing on the engine. Now, some of the problems are there's so many plugins out there. You're trying to find the best ones. You know, you'll have 5 or 10 plugins that do the exact same thing, but one was clearly made by a very experienced programmer and one not so much. And trying to figure out the best one to use is a little bit time consuming, for example, but overall it saved us a lot of time. And I think without using that, we probably would have struggled just due to the size of the team to get anything up and running, especially if we made our own engine. We're nowhere near where we are right now. So speaking to the guys on the team, not just the programmers but the artists and QA and design as well, I think overall everyone's really positive on Unity. I think to get where we are was really quick in terms of getting things up and running. There is a performance overhead because if you are using these external plugins by third parties, you'd make sure that they are also optimized other than just what your own code is doing with Unity. But overall I think it was a very positive experience, and chatting to the guys, they'd all recommend it again, especially for small teams, because it allows you to do so much more, so much quicker, and you can get a game made, which is probably the most important thing. In fact, that is the most important thing for a small team. So hopefully that answers your question. And that's us, guys. Thank you so much for all your questions. It's been fantastic. I'm really happy with the outcome of this video. We've got a lot of great questions on things that honestly we probably wouldn't have spoken about or answered with this video. So art direction, Unity, merchandise, sub bosses, really great question, guys. Thank you so much. I want to do these videos every single month. So if you're enjoying this, you want to see more of these videos, let me know in the comments below. That'd be fantastic. You can hit us up on Twitter and Facebook. We're Stormcloud Games on both, and we'll do more questions at the end of this month. So keep an eye on that when I shout out and ask some questions. That's me, guys. Thank you so much for this video. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.